My name is Jordan Cohen, Vice President for Research and Economic Development at the University of Iowa. And I am so delighted to welcome you to the dedication of the new State Hygienic Laboratory, a state-of-the-art, LEED-certified facility that promises to enhance the health and well-being of all Iowans and sustain the laboratory's national leadership in public health laboratory service, research, and education. I'm joined this afternoon, and my notes say on the podium, but they're right in front of me, and I'd like to acknowledge a few people who will be introduced to be part of the program as well. They include Regent and President Pro Tem Jack Evans from the Board of Regents, University of Iowa President Sally Mason, hygienic proud father of the new hygienic laboratory, very proud, in case you haven't seen him lately, Chris Atchison, UI Foundation President Lynette Marshall, Scott Becker, delighted to have you here, Director of the Association of Public Health Laboratories, Regent Bob Downer, the Board of Regents, State of Iowa, and Ken Mason, husband and faculty member, College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. I'd also like to introduce several leaders from local, state, and national organizations and have them at least stand or wave if they are here. State legislators, Senator Joe Bolcom, there's Joe. Senator Bob Dvorsky, whose district we're standing in. Representative Dave Jacoby, hi Dave, and Representative Mary Masher. We have representatives from Coralville, Mayor Jim Fawcett, a little bit back there. Is Kelly Hayworth here, City Manager? And a faculty member and council member in Coralville, John Lundell. There he is. They're all over the place. From Iowa City, we have City Council member Susan Mims and City Manager Dale Helling, way in the back. Johnson County Board of Supervisors, Pat Harney, Terry Newsel, Janelle Reddig, thank you, going back and forth, Rod Sullivan, and Sally Stutzman. State Directors, Dean Lerner, Iowa Department of Inspection and Appeals, way back there on the right. And Tom Newton, thanks for coming, Iowa Department of Public Health. Thank you. Iowa City Area Chamber of Commerce President Nancy Quellhorst. Nancy here? And representing the Carver Trust, and the Carver made an important gift to the college that you'll hear about, the laboratory, Lynn Sismaser. As we look back on more than 100 years of hygienic laboratory service to Iowans, the evolution is astounding. In 1904, Iowa's public health and environmental lab staff of 3 created handwritten logs of testing throughout the state for typhoid, diphtheria, rabies, and tuberculosis. Today, some 200 individuals work here in Iowa City and in Ankeny and now test for global maladies such as HIV, Lyme disease, and West Nile virus, and more recently H1N1, with new tests being added as the need arises. Today, every person under 40 in Iowa has been screened as a newborn for an ever-increasing list of defects and abnormalities. Through that program alone, the Hygienic Laboratory has touched the lives of nearly 2/3 of all Iowans today. The laboratory also functions as a state's environmental laboratory, regularly testing water, air, and soil for contamination that may affect the health of our neighbors, and is at the front lines to protect our citizens from bioterrorism. 2 notable examples of the leadership of the lab include the work involved in helping with newborn screening in the aftermath of Katrina on the Gulf Coast, and national leadership that they're showing in detecting the causes of foodborne illness. Today's State Hygienic Laboratory is one of only 2 university-based public health laboratories in the nation, and that linkage has created long-standing, cutting-edge research in public health and more recently in environmental health, and these new facilities will greatly strengthen those ties with the university, research and teaching across the university, with a particular focus on medicine, public and environmental health. The Laboratories' new teaching and training facilities will also enhance its function as a training and teaching site for public health workers, as well as across the state, as well as students interested in public health laboratory careers. From a research perspective, the University of Iowa research impact perspective, the opening of this excellent facility marks the continued development of the University of Iowa Research Park. Along with its sister to my left, BioVentures Center building, which was recently opened directly across Oakdale Boulevard, the park continues to grow and develop and reflects the university's strong commitment to use-directed research and economic development based on faculty discoveries and scholarship. Even during the construction process, the project gave rise to public-private partnerships. For example, the university participated in the Alliant Energy Commercial New Construction Program for Efficiency. In response to all of the energy efficiency measures adopted in the construction of this facility, we anticipate savings of over $270,000. We appreciate the opportunity to partner with Alliant and look forward to future opportunities to collaborate on sustainability efforts. It is now my privilege to introduce Jack Evans, member of the Board of Regents, State of Iowa. He was appointed to the board in 2007 and currently serves as President Pro Tem. Regent Evans is president of the Hall Perrine Foundation, a private philanthropic corporation in Cedar Rapids. Prior to joining the foundation in January of 1996, he was president and chief operating officer of SCI Financial Group, starting with the Regional Financial Services Company in 1972. Mr. Evans earned his bachelor's from Coe College in 1970 and his MBA from the University of Iowa in 1972. Currently, he also sits on the board of directors of Gazette Communications, Nuveen Institutional Advisory Corporation, Priority One, and United Fire and Casualty. Please join me in welcoming Regent Evans.
I feel like there should be a casket out here. Thank you very much, Jordan. Jordan, I am very pleased to be here today as a member of the Board of Regents, and I can speak for Bob Downer here. I believe that serving the people of Iowa is always our top priority. It is true that providing the best education is our major task, but our universities are complex and multifaceted institutions. They serve our state in many ways that most people probably aren't able to count. And the State Hygienic Laboratory at the University of Iowa is a perfect example. Today is a pivotal day for the University of Iowa, and frankly, a pivotal day for all of the citizens of our state. As Jordan just pointed out, the State Hygienic Lab has been a part of the University of Iowa's legacy and service for over a century. That's an incredible partnership and one of the strongest testaments to the public service mission of a higher education institution. I believe that Iowans have always been among the most public-spirited in the country. We could see that, as Jordan again pointed out, over 100 years ago when in 1904, think about that, 1904, the General Assembly was both smart and visionary when it created the Hygienic Lab here at the University of Iowa. While the lab's primary mission has been ensuring Iowans' physical and environmental health, it has also provided a superb research and educational opportunity for many students, faculty, and staff. As well, the lab has created many professional job opportunities for Iowans over these many years. Public enterprises like the State Hygienic Laboratory play a key role in the health and welfare of our state in many dimensions and are critical to Iowa's continued success and prosperity. As a regent, I am both humbled and proud to look back at the storied history of the Hygienic Lab and to be part of this major turning point in its legacy and accomplishments. This magnificent new facility has been long needed and much anticipated. It has come a reality through the vision, ingenuity, and hard work of many, many people, and they deserve our greatest gratitude. Well done, by the way, Chris. Please know that the Regents are as proud and as excited today as all those involved with the lab are, and we thank you for enhancing the excellence of the crucial services of the State Hygienic Laboratory through this amazing new facility. Iowans expect and deserve the best, and our job as public servants is to provide it to them. I think we can say today that we have successfully advanced that mission. Having said that, it's now my great pleasure to introduce not only a great leader, but a distinguished scientist, as well as the president of the University of Iowa, Sally Mason.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you all for being here today. I did want to acknowledge one other special guest who's in the audience today, and some of you may not have had a chance to meet her yet, Miss Iowa. She is herself a very strong advocate for public health. Some of you may know that she's a Harvard graduate, and when she finishes her stint as Miss Iowa, she's coming to our medical school as a medical student. So we're very, very proud and pleased that she could be with us today, too. This, as you've heard, is a very historic and long-awaited day, to say the very least. The University of Iowa's longest and most important commitments to the common good and public welfare of all Iowans is represented in this facility directly behind us. And what a facility it is. Last week I had the pleasure of touring this facility with the Regents when they were in town, and Chris Atchison referred to me as a longtime laboratorian. I wasn't sure what to do with that word. In fact, Dave Miles made us look it up and see whether it really was a word or not. I used to simply refer to myself, and my husband and I both referred to ourselves as lab rats. That's the part we understood best of all. And I have to say, when I walked upstairs to see the laboratory facilities that are in this magnificent facility, my jaw dropped. It is truly a jaw-dropping experience if you've ever worked in a laboratory. This is quite a facility, and there are 2 BSL-3 facilities in this structure behind us, which is also quite an accomplishment. Well, the lab's innovations have been many. Its impact on the lives of all of our state's citizens has been profound, and that will continue now in fine fashion. For too long, the lab has been housed in facilities that did not match the important work that goes on. The leaders and the staff of the lab, nevertheless, have managed to provide excellent services that Iowans need and that all Iowans expect. So we are very, very grateful now that this critical organization is able to work in a building that is commensurate with its tasks and its significance. Jordan and Regent Evans have indicated the multifaceted nature of the hygienic laboratory. That goes without saying. It's without a doubt that much goes on in this laboratory. Director Chris Atchison will talk in just a few moments in more detail about the primary mission of the lab's testing and monitoring work. So let me emphasize one other very important function and benefit of this remarkable organization, and that's education. I wouldn't be a university president if I didn't at least mention education. As highly trained professionals, our lab staff share their knowledge and experience with other labs across the country, with their environmental and public health partners, and with other public health professionals at meetings and conferences. But something that I've learned since I've been here, and I learned it again yesterday when I had a chance to meet with a number of math and science teachers from across the eastern part of the state, was they also instruct other labs and professionals throughout the state of Iowa on how to prepare for things like public health threats, like pandemic flu, how to test for harmful agents that could be used in biological and chemical terrorism. And within the lab itself, young scientists who want to observe and experience a public health laboratory are provided with internships and fellowships and opportunities to shadow people in their jobs. And even more importantly, this lab teaches young children through innovative programs like its Iowa Public Television ICN classes for K through 12 students. So this truly is a very, very multifaceted facility. Our foundation president, Lynette Marshall, will talk a bit more about these educational programs and the importance of private funding to these efforts. But I think it's very, very clear from all that we've been saying and all that we will say this afternoon, that the Hygienic Lab would not be possible without strong partnerships. And one partnership that I would like to mention in particular is one with the Des Moines Area Community College. More and more, the University of Iowa and our state's community colleges are collaborating for the benefit of Iowans. Whether it's transfer agreements or collaborative education programs or economic development initiatives, the University of Iowa and Iowa's community colleges are always increasing and strengthening their partnerships. The Hygienic Lab is not just for Iowa City. For a number of years now, we've operated a lab at the Iowa Laboratories facilities in the Des Moines Area Community College campus in Ankeny. This partnership with DMACC has been critical to the success and the growth of the Hygienic Lab. So today we're also celebrating with our colleagues in Ankeny and all across the state in recognition of the collaborative roles that so many talented people have played in the past on this historic day and now going well into the future. Now, there is one person who can do a lot better job than I can in telling you more about all the remarkable things that the Hygienic Lab does. That's the proud papa that Jordan mentioned, our director, Chris Atchison. So please help welcome the director of the Hygienic Lab, Chris Atchison, to the podium.
Thank you, President Mason, Regent Evans, Vice President Cohen, and everyone assembled here. This is indeed a celebratory day, and I hope that everybody's had a chance to go through this marvelous facility. It truly is a state-of-the-art contribution to the state's public health and environmental system. Thank you to all of the people who made today possible. I want to recognize Pam Costel. Where is Pam? Right here in the middle. Pam nurtured this enterprise from literally the beginning until today. And all of the detail work, Pam, will always be in your debt. Secondly, Bill Berger. Where's Bill? Bill's in the back there. Bill assured that the nerve center, the communication system within this enterprise would provide the kind of support that will make this lab's work rapid and accurate. Also, Bob Smith, who was the project manager, Bob right here in the middle, overseeing all of the construction from the day that we had 24 inches of rain in the footings until today when you see this marvelous facility. Thank you very much, Bob, for what you did. And before continuing, I'd like to acknowledge someone who isn't with us, but whom I know would appreciate this day. In 2006, just as we were beginning this lab, we lost longtime employee Mary Ritchie, who worked in the lab for 32 years. Mary was an expert in asbestos, and as you may know, we are the only asbestos lab currently operating for the public in the state of Iowa. Mary's family, who is with us, has donated a bench in her honor that is on the south side of the building. I hope you all have a chance to see it. Where's Mary's family? Back here. Thank you very, very much. When we had our groundbreaking ceremony for this building in October of 2006, my theme was Imagine the Possibilities. As I reflected on that theme in preparing my thoughts for today, and this will scare my wife, I was reminded of the 1940s movie The Bells of St. Mary's, starring Bing Crosby and Ingrid Bergman. As some of you may remember, Bergman plays a nun, Sister Benedict, who is a principal at an elementary school whose building has seen better days. It is a story of faith and optimism that no matter the challenge, the future will be brighter. That is how I feel about this new lab and what it offers the university and the state. Though we will not physically move into the building until June, pending the completion of some engineering work and commissioning, when you look at this new facility, I hope everyone can imagine how it will better enable the work we do. And I say better because as the result of staff dedication, we have already been nationally recognized for our ability to detect diseases that impact families and communities on a routine basis and during epidemics and pandemics like the H1N1 outbreak we were addressing at this very time last year. To make sure that the water is safe to drink anywhere in Iowa, as we were addressing 2 years ago about this time of year. To solve foodborne outbreaks such as salmonella in peanut butter or Italian sausages, which we seem to routinely encounter. Now this lab rewards that staff dedication with a facility that will actually work for them, because we took every opportunity to provide staff and programs with the opportunity to propose, review, and revise how their piece of the laboratory would be developed. This is a lab designed by laboratorians to do the work they must do to protect Iowans. But like Sister Benedict, we should imagine an even better future. With the resources of this new lab and the flexibility it offers, based at one of our nation's leading research institutions, we anticipate new relationships with our colleagues in the colleges and centers of the university. Just last week, for example, we completed a memo of understanding with the College of Public Health, outlining ways in which we can work together to advance knowledge to better protect the health of the public. I have met with our colleagues just across the parking lot in occupational and environmental health to discuss how we might collaborate to advance this goal. Yet we can do more. We know our future is in the hands of those whom we educate, and we must expand this educational mission of the laboratory. This year, we have 4 fellows from the Centers for Disease Control and co-sponsored by the Association of Public Health Laboratories. We're one of the few institutions in the nation that has been benefited by this many fellows from CDC, and we really appreciate their support in that enterprise. The design of this facility should enable even greater opportunities for fellowships and greater collaboration in teaching and research. It's also a facility that, as President Mason has described, can excite younger students about the sciences. Just yesterday, we hosted middle school students attending the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics program, or STEM symposium, sponsored by the Iowa Math and Science Education Partnership. We look forward to working with that partnership and with leaders like Dr. Gina Schottman in making our resources more available in their mission. Imagine a public and private sector sponsored science fair on this very campus. One of the speakers at yesterday's program was someone that I also want to recognize, and that is this year's Miss Iowa, Ann Michael Languth. Ann Michael made her platform the encouragement of young people to choose careers in laboratory science. Ann Michael told me she has driven over 30,000 miles in Iowa delivering this message this year. And while she joins the University of Iowa's College of Medicine this fall as a first-year med student, I want to thank her for her service. I believe we are at the beginning of something great for Iowa, public health, and the environment. This new facility provides an unprecedented opportunity to advance the laboratory's service, research, and educational missions. Thank you to all who have made this possible. Now, I would like to introduce someone who shares this belief in the future and of the contributions the university can make. Lynette Marshall, President and CEO of the University of Iowa Foundation. Lynette.
Congratulations to Chris and to all of the laboratorians. I love new words, and that's a new one for me today. So what a joyous day to be together and to be able to feel the amazing energy here today. Chris, you are infectious in your enthusiasm for this, and what a wonderful way for all of us to learn of the real impact that the Hygienic Lab has not only on this local community, but on our state and our nation, because indeed it does serve people across the nation. So much of what we do on this campus has impact reaching far beyond Iowa City or our campus, and the lab is certainly no different. We've heard a lot this afternoon about its critical role, not only on the university campus, but also across the state and nation. And indeed, as Sally and Chris have both mentioned, private support plays a role in this project as well. Similar to the work done here at the lab every day, private support often operates behind the scenes to help keep the university growing and thriving. and that's why I'm especially grateful to have the chance to speak today. In the case of the Hygienic Lab, we are standing in a place where philanthropy is poised to make its impact, and we have a part in making that happen. Earlier this year, I'm delighted to say that the Roy Carver Charitable Trust of Muscatine made a generous challenge grant of $300,000 to help fund the build-out of the learning laboratory portion of this lab. Thank you, Lynn, for being here with us today to represent the Carver Trust. And Chris has already spoken to the impact of a learning laboratory, not just on scientists, but on middle schoolers and high schoolers throughout the state. That means we at the University of Iowa Foundation and the Friends of the Lab are going to be looking to the university's most generous friends and alumni and supporters who believe that the work that happens in this space is important, and we are seeking to raise an additional $300,000 in other revenue to match the generous grant from the Carver Trust. All of you here today care about Iowa's public health and environmental lab, and it's a privilege for us to be a part of that. It's fitting that this learning laboratory space that we're seeking funds for, an open and public environment for learning and collaboration, must itself be funded through a collaborative effort. The completed state-of-the-art space will be a valuable resource for our community, providing a vital environment for the university and for healthcare and public health professionals, as well as our K-12 students. Private support will allow the Hygienic Lab to reach out to younger learners in many other ways as well, such as providing grants to junior high and high school students and teachers, sustaining summer internships that are so important in encouraging interest in our sciences, and job shadowing opportunities for high school and college students. Education, training, and outreach are all integral parts of the laboratory's commitment to a healthier Iowa now and in the future. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to introduce from Washington, D.C., Scott Becker, who is the Executive Director of the Association of Public Health Laboratories from Silver Springs, Maryland.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the Association of Public Health Laboratories, our board of directors, and our members, today is a very, very special day. We congratulate you, but I can also tell you, Chris, and the members of the staff here at the lab, you have made very many people jealous. It is a jaw-dropping experience walking into this facility. It is absolutely stunning and will provide such a wonderful, wonderful place for your work. All the scientists here today know that when you change even one small aspect of a thing, it makes a difference to the whole. But I assume that everyone here knows that from your own experience. A small change can have a big effect. In this building, for instance, every door is precisely placed for security, for energy conservation, for access, and even an inch of variation from the architect's specs would have made a significant difference to the whole. And as the executive director of the national organization that represents public health labs, including this one, I want to tell you about a change that we have recently made that I believe reflects the reality of today's public health laboratories. It's just a single word in our mission statement, but we're already seeing that it's making a big difference. Rather than saying public health laboratories support national and global health objectives, we now say that we shape them. Yes, we do shape them. We in the public health labs are among the ones who are responsible, accountable, and necessary in defining and reaching those objectives. Don't get me wrong, support is still critical and will always be a role that this and other labs play. But we recognize that in 2010, laboratorians, and it is a word, are proactive with everything that people in our labs do, from their action in public health emergencies to the daily and sometimes life-saving work of screening newborns for genetic and metabolic disorders. They are proactive, they're thinking ahead. All of you working here are proactive in tracking disease trends, in developing new technologies, You routinely collaborate with us, with CDC and others in the development of new assays and in testing algorithms. When conventional methods fail, you find a new approach. In focusing resources on public health preparedness, you're always thinking ahead, shaping the future. I know there's more than one person here today who in the back of his or her mind, maybe not even consciously, is running through a disaster drill in the event a problem occurs here, now, in this space, and I'm hoping it's that this stays up. Why? It's because that's how you operate. This is not a new mission. We've long been called the first responders in a public health crisis, and in truth, there's more to responding than supporting and reacting. Emergency response is emergency preparation. It comes at the end of a very involved, proactive process with an enormous breadth of effort and testing and modeling to shape what will work. We saw it during last year's influenza pandemic. When labs across the nation lit up, they put their flu plans into place, working around the clock, communicating with each other, exchanging knowledges and resources to identify and contain the novel influenza virus. We see it in the Laboratory Response Network, an elite system of which this laboratory is a member, the nationwide system that had trained members to deal with biohazards months before the first anthrax threat in America. And we see it with deadly foodborne outbreak and foodborne illnesses when they strike. We are able to better contain it because of the work of this lab. You know this. You came to the rescue of your colleagues in Louisiana. You did it for the babies, and you did it for your colleagues across the country. You are true heroes and lab coats. But it takes a special laboratory to fulfill this role of shaping the future. A specially equipped facility staffed with highly qualified and trained experts like the one here. Without it, there's no way to obtain the sophisticated analysis that gives us the answers needed to shape our responses, assign our resources, battle the crises that befall us, and ultimately, and most importantly, improve health outcomes. For the first time, the people of Iowa will benefit from a state-of-the-art facility which will allow for these new collaborations, as Chris said, with researchers and other partners to look at things such as the interactions between human health and the environment, test out new technologies to save lives and save money. And who knows, this space right here could uncover the clues of some of our most pressing health issues, such as chronic disease. Shaping the future is not by any stretch a one-time proposition. You don't build a lab and consider your work done. It takes a continual evaluation, continual innovation. You need to keep looking at your goals to determine whether they're sound ones and how you're going to reach them. But it also takes continual, reliable funding, and I thank in advance those of you here from the legislature, from the university leadership, and others in the audience, both public and private, that can help this laboratory continue to get the funding it needs to continue to do its life-saving work. Knowledge needs to be shaped, energy needs formed to be useful, and that's why this building is standing. There are many of you here who helped make the lab a reality. You identified the need for it to begin with. You worked to secure the funding and then directed the development and the construction of this enormously complex building. You supported this effort, and in doing so, you shaped the future of health in your state, your region, and your country. Because as you know, no public health laboratory works in isolation. We are part of a community. This public health lab is public, and this facility is a public facility. And you have taken public health laboratory science in this state decades forward just today. And starting today, all of those of you working inside of this lab will be better equipped to pursue our shared mission, shaping a healthier future for all. So again, on behalf of APHL, congratulations.
Okay, I'm going to begin with Senator Grassley and Mary Day, who I know. So Mary, from Senator Grassley's office.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chris. Dear friends, thank you for the invitation to the grand opening for the new state-of-the-art State Hygienic Laboratory. I'm unable to join you today because the Senate is in session. It has been a pleasure to work with you to bring about this accomplishment. For many years, the staff of the State Hygienic Laboratory has excelled for the citizens of our state and our nation in areas of disease and environmental contaminant detection. Imagine how great things will be now that you have a laboratory to work with you on this mission. My wife Barbara joins me in wishing you a memorable afternoon. Please feel free to contact me whenever I can be of further assistance. Keep in touch. Chuck Grassley.
Thank you very much, Mary. I apologize. Next, Dan Smith, who actually had the opportunity to tour the lab just a few weeks ago. Dan Smith from Senator Harkin's office.
To all gathered to dedicate the new State Hygienic Laboratory, I regret that likely votes in the Senate on Wednesday will prevent me from joining you for the dedication of the State Hygienic Lab. But I send my hearty congratulations. At long last, the lab's superb professionals will occupy a state-of-the-art facility that is commensurate with both their talents and their life-saving mission. I applaud the symbolism of moving the State Hygienic Lab into a central, high-visibility location on the Oakdale campus in the city of Coralville. It makes no sense for the lab to remain one of our state's best-kept secrets. In our post-9/11 world, a world that is increasingly vulnerable to both bioterrorism and global pandemics, the State Hygienic Lab is on the front line in defending Iowans from an array of threats to public health and safety. I also applaud our leaders in state government for generously providing the lion's share of resources to build and equip this magnificent new building. I was pleased to ensure that the federal government also helped to make it possible. It is vitally important to our state's future that we continue to bring Iowa's scientific infrastructure into the 21st century. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the nearly 250 people who staff the State Hygienic Laboratory. You protect the people of Iowa in so many ways, from monitoring our air and waterways, performing prenatal screenings, to ongoing surveillance for infectious diseases. I deeply appreciate your dedication to public service. Again, congratulations to all who had the vision and dedication to bring this new building to fruition. This is indeed a proud day for Iowa. Senator Tom Harkin.
Thank you, Dan. And we are in Congressman Dave Loebsack's district, and here to give remarks or to give notes from Congressman Loebsack is Dave Letch. Dave, you're blown off here.
Thank you, Chris. It's an honor to be here and to read a brief letter from Congressman Loebsack, and I'm going to make it even briefer before this cement block wobbles anymore. To the University of Iowa community, I'm sorry I can't be with you today to dedicate the new building for the State Hygienic Lab. I do, however, want to congratulate Chris and the many people who have worked to fund, build, and open this superb new facility. What is being dedicated today is tangible proof of your ongoing commitment to fostering world-class innovation in the state of Iowa. This new facility, designed and built by Iowa firms, represents how far the Hygienic Lab has come from its original mission over a century ago. This new building will provide invaluable support for the cutting-edge research performed by the State Hygienic Lab, the University of Iowa, and their many state, federal, and international partners. I congratulate all of you who have worked so hard to make today a reality. Dave Loebsack, your congressman. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to adjourn. We're going to do the ribbon cutting right over here. But before we do that, I did want to acknowledge Lois and Bill Hausler. Bill, this is probably a dream of yours back in the 1958, I think, when you first came to work here in Iowa. And long time coming, but this has to represent a dream come true. So Bill, Lois, thank you very much for coming.